why am I spending any more time on this book than I already have? Was it a choice I necessarily love? No, but alas, here we are. Dark times, if you will. We are in the middle of a plague. It's almost like Fourth Wing and ACOTAR had a baby.
Fun fact, I have been sitting on this video idea for 4 months now. We're finally here reading the best and worst rated books on my Goodreads TBR. We're going to start off with the worst because I do want to finish with a bang, and I went through a bit of a reading slump after reading Onyx Storm, and I did a whole reading vlog about that, but I figured if I start with a book that's expected to not be great, it won't leave me in a book slump because then I'll be forced to read an amazing book afterwards. So we're going to be starting off with the lowest rated book on my Goodreads, which is The Stone Witch of Florence. I don't know much about this book. From what I've gathered, it is a healer who, because she was all witchy and stuff, was exiled from Italy, but now there is this big plague, and the same people who exiled her want her to come back and heal those people. So I'm wondering if this is going to be one of those, like, should she help the people who are sick, or should she prove a point to the people who exiled her? And then also just some, like, fun fantasy stuff here and there along the way. So I'm very excited. I love that it takes place in Italy. I love how both of these books are fantasy, and let's just say I'm in a big fantasy kick right now. When am I not, frankly? But right now especially, like, all I want to do is read fantasy and dystopians. I recently am falling in love with dystopians again, which is perfect timing with the new Hunger Games book coming out. The Stone Witch of Florence is the worst rated book on my Goodreads TBR with a rating of 3.67 stars. Now, this isn't a horrible rating per se, but on my Goodreads TBR, I guess this is pretty bad. I may, just because I haven't done one in a while, I may have to start this book with a subscribers to seconds. Reading 1 second for every subscriber I have on my booktube channel, day 41. I'm actually really glad that I started reading this book with a subscribers to seconds video, because when I tell you, although I got through 44% of the book, it was absolutely painful, and I would not have gotten this far in 2 hours if it were not for this challenge. I have a couple critiques of the book, some personal and some actual just like literature-based responses. But for me personally, I do not enjoy books that mock religions, even if it's not a religion that I adhere to. Frankly, I am not Catholic, but this book is just like mocking the Catholic religion left and right to the point where like it just feels icky to read. For that reason alone, like this book is just not sitting well with me. Another personal thing is that the book is just so like negative. Like the main character is extremely negative, the writing style is extremely negative, and I get like it's supposed to be like dark times, if you will. We are in the middle of a plague, but because of that, like going into reading this book, my energy was so good and I was such in a positive, bubbly mood. But you know what? This book is smushing that, so I'm doing my best to keep my energy fun, bubbly, and light. But no, this book is not doing it. The thing is too, is that I feel like there was a good concept here. Like the plot itself, if you think about it, is not bad. It's just the execution to me is like not how I would want to see this plot executed. I'm just really disappointed on multiple fronts, honestly. It feels really slow, even though we're doing a lot of time jumping, which honestly I am glad. Like that is one thing that I can say really positively about this book is how much time jumping we are doing, because if we got everything chronologically, this book would be significantly more boring. But you know what? We're gonna keep this on a positive note. This is a shorter book, so I'm already about halfway, 44%. I had a crazy week of work, and because of that, I'm just really behind on things like laundry and dishes and just cleaning the house, and I am an hour out from my bedtime, so I'm actually going to take a break from reading for the night. I'm gonna take a break from this book. I think that's really necessary for me, and we will continue in the morning where I will dump, edit, and post the subscribers to seconds first thing in the morning, and then we'll finish the book. And I must say, I have been dying to read the book. that was the best rated on my Goodreads. And the fact that it is the best rated on my Goodreads makes me even more excited to read it. So that is my number one motivation for getting through this book right now. I personally just don't recommend it. I can see why it is the lowest rated book. It's just so mid for so many reasons. I'm interested when I finish this book to read what the 1-star reviews are. If it were not for this video, I would have 1000% DNF'd it a long time ago. Like, this is just not the book for me. No hate, obviously, if you've read this book and you enjoyed it. I think this is mostly personal preferences. But in my opinion, on top of all of my personal preferences, this just feels like an extremely boring book. You want to say hello? Or say hello to all the people. Say hello. Very wise words. I think she just wants me to get out of bed right now because she's not allowed up on the bed because we have a white duvet. So I'm gonna go play with my puppy, do some dishes, do some laundry, and I will see you first thing in the morning with a piping hot, strong cup of black coffee in my hands. I woke up early this morning to finish The Stone Witch of Florence, and then I took some time to edit and post the subscribers to seconds I filmed yesterday. I thought maybe taking a couple minutes away from this book once I finished it would help soften my hatred for this book. Unfortunately, I was incorrect. This book was bad. Usually, I can say that a book was bad and still find something positive to say about it. In my opinion, this book, I would never recommend it. I will say though, disclaimer, I did scroll through Goodreads and read some of the reviews, and a lot of them were in Italian, so part of me wonders if the reason why this book just did not read well is because it wasn't actually originally written in English, because that would explain why it was written so blandly. Sometimes when things are translated, they lose their punchiness. That is a high probability, and I will give the book at least that benefit of the doubt, but I will say every single 1-star review that I read was along the same ideas. The premise on the back of the book sounds amazing, but the book isn't even about that, and it was just so weird, but not in a good way, like not in an entertaining way. It was weird in a, why am I spending any more time on this book than I already have? I wanted to DNF it at every moment. There was never a single thing that I read. There wasn't a single sentence I read that made me go, oh, maybe what if I read one more chapter? Let's see what happens here. I didn't have that feeling once. Take that as you will. I am so glad that I have no plans today other than reading the best book on my Goodreads TBR, which is Quicksilver by Callie Hart, because let me tell you, if there's anything I need right now, it is to curl up on the couch with my puppy and a strong cup of coffee and read a romantasy book. And I think this is going to be the one. I've gotten some really sweet messages from subscribers telling me like how much they think I'm going to like this book based on my taste. Obviously, my closest friend, Caitlin, read this book in like 24 hours. She was also super into it, and we have very similar book tastes. The day is still young. I think the phrase is night is still young, but it's not even night yet. It's barely even the afternoon. It is noon. It is 12:06 to be specific. If for whatever reason there is a part of the book that's extremely slow and I'm struggling to get through it, then subscribers to seconds will be perfect, because I'm not gonna lie, I have used that challenge before to survive certain books that will not be named out loud. I'm so excited to start reading this, and I believe my coffee's done brewing, so let's curl up with little Soka and get some reading in. Let's go cuddle. Let's go cuddle. Good girl. Looking back, I know that starting with the worst book was the best decision because I needed to have something to look forward to in order to get through that book, and I know that, but maybe immediately picking up the next book was not a good idea. Full transparency, I probably took 4 or 5 hours to get to page 118, and it wasn't even just that I kept getting on my phone, because I definitely kept pulling up my phone a lot more than I would like to admit. But on top of that, I kept falling asleep. I didn't think that I was sleep deprived because I slept in a little bit this morning, but I kept falling asleep while reading the book. Caitlin did say it's slow at the beginning and then it gets better, and I definitely am at the part where the book is getting better, but I'm just like so not here mentally. I feel like so stinking scattered. But now it's 6 p.m. I have 3 hours till I plan to go to bed, and I really do just want to see how much of this book I can read. So we're definitely not finishing this book today. Unfortunately, we might get to the halfway point. But I must say, I have so much to do tomorrow that like needs to get done tomorrow. Like we have deadlines, okay? So yikes. I've decided I'm not going to do a subscribers to seconds. Honestly, I wish I just started this book with a subscribers to seconds. I just need to get into this book. I need to get to like where the big plot twist is, because I mean, there's been a big plot twist. Let's actually just talk about the book for a second. I say I need to get to a plot twist. There's been a lot of plot twists and very good ones. I really like the writing style so far. The pacing at the beginning I didn't love, but I do like it now. So far, I have really liked every single character. Even the characters I'm not supposed to like, I like how much I don't like them. Like, they make really good villains, if you know what I mean. World building so far, I don't think I know enough, but from what I do know, I do like that. I think I need to stop drinking coffee because I drink coffee daily. Continuing to drink coffee is not going to wake me up more. It's just going to dehydrate me. So we are going to get a carbonated water. And I did turn on the fan, so I do think that's going to help me. I think I was a little too cozy with Soka. So we turned on the fan. We're going to get like a nice ice cold bubbly. We're just going to see how much we can read in the next 3 hours. I am going to right now, where you can see, I talk about this in so many videos. If there is one app specifically that keeps distracting you and is keeping you from getting your work done, literally go to your settings app and offload the app. I will say though, don't do this to your TikTok. I learned the hard way that if you offload your TikTok, you can't get the app back. Instagram, offload app. There we go. Instagram is gone. It will no longer be a distraction. I don't think you've moved from that spot all day. Literally, I just needed to read one more chapter to uncover how insanely good the rest of this book is, and I absolutely cranked out reading for the rest of the evening, but I have a confession to make. It is now a week later. I have not touched the book since I last vlogged. It was very hard to do, but I wanted to make sure that, you know, we started this in a vlog, we're going to finish it in a vlog. But I hit some pretty bad burnout, not just creative burnout, but mental, emotional, physical burnout. I really just pushed myself way too hard, and I needed to take a couple days to rest, reevaluate my priorities, and just think about how I am utilizing my time. It was hard to take a break from YouTube. Obviously, not posting for a week did hurt my analytics and will probably hurt my algorithm, but that's fine. I'm not too worried about it because at least I'm doing better. No matter what happens though, I do not regret taking the time that I needed to take care of my health. So that being said, I am feeling way better. I feel like a whole different person, which is exactly what I was hoping for. And now we're finally going to pick up Quicksilver. I must say, I am absolutely loving Kingfisher. He is so fun. He is so Henry Cavill coded, and I love it. And if you're looking for your next Geralt of Rivia, your next Rowan Whitethorn, your next Rhysand, frankly, even your next Asriel, then you would love Kingfisher. Is the name still odd to me? Yes. Has there been an explanation for the name yet? No. Do I think there will be? I don't think so. I think that's just something I'm supposed to accept, is that his name is quite literally Kingfisher. Anywho, I think that the best way to kick this off just for me is a subscribers to seconds, just because as excited as I am to jump back into this, I'm afraid that I'm going to be a really distracted reader because I haven't really read anything in the last week. So with the subscribers to seconds, it will kind of force me to lock in for a little bit, and then we'll hopefully be able to maintain that momentum for the rest of the evening. I'm currently on chapter 21, page 324, and that is just slightly over halfway. We just got this much left. I'm really excited. I must say, I took a break from a lot of things, and the only thing that was actually hard to take a break from was this book. And by all means, let's just kick things off. Reading 1 second for every subscriber I have on my booktube channel, day 42. If you want to watch this thing in its entirety, you can check out my subscribers to seconds playlist, which I'm going to have linked down below. Hello, and welcome to the place where the reading happens. Let's talk about this book. I have like 50 pages left, and things are heating up right now. Things are getting a little intense, a little crazy, but I'm going to take a break and talk to you about it because I realized maybe we've already talked about the book, but just because it's been a week, I don't remember. In that case, I'll edit this all out. But in case not, let's do a deep dive about this book, because I do like to give my full thoughts and feelings before I read the ending, because I typically get really caught up in the emotions of finishing a book, and then my opinions are all skewed at that point. So I like to give you some raw, honest thoughts and feelings. Now, I would like to say before we continue, this is my husband's side of the bed. His nightstand is none of my business, okay? Don't judge me for it. Is mine much better? Well, there's a muffin wrapper on it, so maybe not. Let's talk about a couple things. Main female character, the FMC if you will. She's okay. At the beginning, she did bother me because I love a good female rage moment, but she's just an angry female. And sometimes her rage is very valid, but other times it's like you just want to be an angry person. That is not typically the energy I like to surround myself with. Therefore, I wasn't crazy about her. However, I feel like she has gotten better throughout the story. So for that reason alone, she's all right. The main male character, I will say I love him. Very Henry Cavill, if you will, and I am really enjoying that aspect of him. However, sometimes this man opens his mouth and he says the cringiest and ickiest things, and I think it's supposed to be like attractive. It's not my favorite. It's a little too forthright and aggressive if you ask me, so not the biggest fan. There is, as it is a romantasy, now let's talk about the romance aspect about it, and let's talk about the fantasy aspect. For the romance aspect, I'm not crazy about it. I do like the romance overall. However, the build up to the romance was a little confusing for me. It didn't feel very cohesive. It felt very conflicting. It felt like two rusty gears grinding up against each other at the beginning. So it was a little rough to begin with. No, don't lick your paws. It's not good for them. You're gonna make your paws bleed again. Please do not bite them. It's not nice. I love you. Please don't lick. Oh, you are such a sweet girl. You are so sweet. Please don't lick your paws. I love you. Where was I? As for the fantasy element, I was genuinely surprised by the world building and by the magic system. Did I think the world building was super in-depth and insane? No, but it is creative. I did like that aspect to it. It kind of mixed two world building stereotypes together to create something fresh and new, and I really did like that. The magic system, I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little confused. I feel like we didn't really get the best explanation of the magic system, but whenever we did, I felt like there were so many different types of magic and different types of magic systems, and they just didn't really mesh together in a way that made sense. I don't know, it just kind of felt all over the place. So I can't necessarily judge that because that might have actually been a choice. I'm not quite sure. That could have been a choice. Was it a choice I necessarily love? No, but alas, here we are. Now, I have 50 pages left. I'm enjoying the ending, don't get me wrong, but I'm not obsessed with the ending. Something crazy could happen in the last chapter, and I'm fully acknowledging that. Right now, I really am like at a 4.5, and this ending is really going to determine whether or not this is a 5 or a 4-star book for me. I don't know. I want to say it's going to be a 5-star because I don't believe I have had a 5-star rating yet. Editing Ruby, can we verify this? Okay. Let's just crank this out. I can keep talking. I really can. We could talk forever, but I don't think I want to. Hi. Thank you. Hold on. Sorry, so good. Come here. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to scare you. Did I hurt you? I don't think I connected with you. I think I just scared you a little bit, right? I'm almost done with my book, I swear, and then we can have so much fun. We'll play so much. I have only this much left. Are you kidding me? Okay, hold on. We have a couple more pages left. Five stars. 5 stars. 5 stars. 5 stars. This is a 5-star book. So much just happened in the last 50 pages, and I am so glad we talked before because I have one track mind right now, and that is, when does book 2 come out? Like next fall. I felt like there were so many things about this book that felt very predictable and very cliche. And I felt that way through majority of it, which is why I was leaning more towards a 4-star, like it was a good book. But those last 50 pages, so many things happened that just blew my mind. And especially that last sentence, oh my word. Okay, I feel like that completely drastically changed my mind about this book in so many ways. And what's great about it is that now, like, it didn't just change like what I think the next book's going to be. It actually does change how I view a lot of things that have happened throughout the book, which I really like those kinds of plot twists. Not plot twists that just change the trajectory of what's going to happen, but it changes your perspective on everything that already has happened. Those are my favorite kind of plot twists. So I am so happy with how this book just ended. I do feel like there were a couple things where it was like, okay, like too many worked out for the better moments, and it just feels like the main characters just kept getting lucky. But I will say, however, there were also some moments that really just overshadowed that I don't even care. This is spoiler free, so I'm not going to go into detail, but there is a side character. He steals the show every chapter that he's in. I'm obsessed with him. I love him. He is amazing. He is so funny. He has the best one-liners. He is just constantly making every scene better, and I love this side character so stinking much, which is funny because I was kind of annoyed by him at the beginning, which I think was the author's intention, is to make you from like annoyed by him to liking him. But for me, he went from like an annoying character to being my favorite character, which is amazing. Where did this whole thing start? Best and worst rated books on my TBR Goodreads. We have The Iron Witch of Florence, which I would not recommend anyone ever read. I can't say a single good, nice thing about it. And then there's Quicksilver, which I will give you a heads up. The first half of the book did feel kind of slow, but not in a bad way. I guess it just wasn't what I expected. But the second half of the book is really phenomenal, and it made me realize that the first half of the book really is setting up for an amazing second half. So totally justified. And then those last 50 pages will absolutely blow your mind. 110%. If you have not read Quicksilver already, you should. It's almost like Fourth Wing and ACOTAR had a baby. That is Quicksilver. Anyways, the next book is called Brimstone. It's coming out this fall. They haven't even released a cover yet, but I am so excited to read it, especially after that crazy ending. And who knows, maybe I'll read it in a future vlog, so you should definitely subscribe and stick around to see if that happens. But in the meantime, while you wait for me to post my next video, you should definitely check out some of my other reading challenges, and I will see you next week.